Yeah, well, I'm excited to see how both these players go. It looks like the Irelia player is going to be going first.
Yep.
Alan Chang, not someone that we've seen on screen yet
Hmm.
before, versus another player who we have yet to see on screen. So excited to see how both these players do here for the rest of the tournament. But for right now, it looks like just a Bone Shiver is going to come down.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, patient play is what it seems like to be the case for Luis Sanchez
Yeah.
here. Hopefully, he has something like a Lucian for next turn to be able to start utilizing that Bone Shiver as best as possible. But Alex Chang here, dropping down an Euphoria Scout, not something that we see too often.
Yeah, I mean, I like the card. A powerless card is generally good for your ramp, and Aurelia does tend to pay a lot of power. So being able to establish a bit of a board without having to do that is nice. I will say it is unfortunate that Aurelia did miss the turn one, like GA, the turn one Zonias, something that to actually get value out of those first two runes. But I mean, you can't hate it, and that is a Poro. What's the name of that Poro? I don't even remember.
I think it's Mighty Poro.
Is it Mighty Poro?
Yeah, it's the Poro that whenever it's got Weapon Master.
Yes, I do know that. And he is veteran Poro, actually.
Veteran Poro. Okay.
I would not have gotten that one, but
Yeah, I mean,
not a
I
Lucian.
didn't get that one.
Not a Lucian though, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would have been slightly better because then he would have gotten the Mighty trigger, been able to trigger the Fiora, get the ramp, and then do
Absolutely.
the lose.
Yeah, you know what's interesting to me about the Fiora deck is how much it kind of fell off, right? Because it did so well in the Chinese meta, and we saw it get, was it second place, I want to say? It got second place, and then it got top 8 again with like the hook build. And
Yeah, I like
it
the
is,
hook build a lot, actually.
it's done nothing in the West so far, right? Like not at Bologna, not at Vegas.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, oh wow, hiding a card already. So imagine that's probably the fight or flight we saw earlier. And then saving, yeah, that makes sense because he's still trying to save the 2 runes for a discipline or a not so fast or some form of protection. Oh, it looks like I see a rebuke as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Alex wants to rebuke here this early on into the
Yes,
game.
of
I mean,
course.
recycling 2 runes can be very punishing, so just going to go ahead and let Luis get that Conquer off. Luis is going to be able to ramp as well, which means that he's going to just go ahead and take the time to use the rest of this turn
wow.
to get this Arena Bar online, which means that this buff comes up, and now Fiora gets to trigger her Mighty. He gets to ramp yet again. And, I mean, this is an insane turn because essentially he got to spend 3 to give him a unit a buff as well.
Oh, it looks like there's a challenge on the backline, I want to say here. I think that's
I was going to say he got to use essentially a catalyst of Aeons
for free.
and buff for 3 runes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a testament to how powerful this Arena Bar card is if you can see it on like early enough in your curve, because that card on its own kind of carried set through set 1. The games where set saw Arena Bar and the games where it didn't is just night and day, like totally different deck. And I like it in the Fiora because there are a few different versions of Fiora, right? You have the one that's really heavy in the equipment, and you get your Mighty procs through the equipment. Then there's the buff version. Well, you still play equipment in all of them for the most part, but you can use buffs to get over those breakpoints. And then there's obviously the hook one, and I can't imagine this is the hook version, seeing as we've seen like the Arena Bar and the Bone. Is that the Bone Shiver?
Bone Shiver, yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep. So, I mean, last turn that challenge did come out, but unfortunately for Luis, there was a not-so-fast waiting in the wings. So, going to be able to protect that Stellacorn Herder as well. Now this Heart of Dark Ice is going to come down, which means that the Stellacorn Herder is going to be much bigger than this Mighty Poro. And now Alex Chang going to be able to draw a card off of this move, but instead, Punch First is going to come down. And 2 runes going to be recycled. He does have to have exactly a rebuke to be able to answer this, and he might just do that to protect his Stellacorn Herder. On guard, not going to be enough.
Yeah, so he's going up to 2, 4, 5, 10. Yeah, and
10.
Up at 4. You could play, I believe he has on guard plus discipline. That is an option. That would go and trade, though I can't imagine he would be happy trading at this point in the game. This is where I would have liked to see that fight or flight that's hidden right now in your hand, because that makes this kind of scenario way easier to navigate. I guess really they're hoping to hold on that point, which I think is kind of curious because generally there isn't that much holding right now. So opting to hold so early in the game Like, do you have any idea why he might have tried to do that?
I think he's just excuse me.
Ooh, you okay?
Yeah. Um, all right. I think he's just trying to use the fight or flight to draw a card with the Dreaming Tree. And so he's just waiting for Luis to go in either with one unit and then utilize the fight or flight to continue the hold, or if he just overwhelms him with multiple units, okay, I'm just going to draw a card, bring back my unit. And that seems like a pretty safe line here, especially because he has the Defy to protect himself a little bit further should things go awry. But here we see this Mighty Poro come right back in. He's going to be able to ramp essentially 1 because he's going to go up 2, down 1. And yeah, I mean, this Unguard going to just force the trade. And Luis Sanchez is in a very, very difficult spot now as this buff has been used. Now this battlefield is no longer available. And yeah, I mean, Alan Chang playing this matchup beautifully here with this Irelia, managed to bring himself all the way back up to 4 points now and still has his Irelia waiting in the wings.
I want to say I'm going to pull it up. The Bone Shiver equipped is what? It's 1 and 1
power, yeah.
Yeah. So you still could go equip the Bone Shiver to Fiora and push Fiora up on Monastery if you really did want to try and push the pace. That being said, I don't think you really feel the need to do that here. I think that it's okay to go a little bit slower, save your runes, maybe not pay so aggressively, because that would be pretty expensive.
Absolutely. And I think one of the other things to think here is, right, like he does have a hidden card that could be a fight or flight. It is, we do know it is a fight or flight.
Yes.
And then if that Heart of Dark, he can just fight or flight the Navori Scout back,
And
use
then
the
push
Heart of
back
Dark
up.
Ice, and just go right back over onto the other battlefield. So it doesn't feel safe to do so either, just with what's on the battlefield alone. So, I mean, Luis, I think, is correct here in playing this patiently. He might have wanted to use the Bone Shiver to equip to the Fiora just to get the trigger, but he had already used that trigger this turn.
You know what I actually would have liked on the previous turn is instead of pushing up the Stellacorn onto the Monastery, is you actually just push the Stellacorn up onto the Dreaming Tree. You get the draw, you fight or flight the Stellacorn back, and then you get 2 more draws. So then it does keep your Stellacorn out of harm's way off the battlefield. Sure, you're not contesting the Monastery, but I think it really is okay to play from behind. You're not even playing from behind, but you are getting the draw 3. I mean, right now we only have 3 cards in hand. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you're right on this regard because he is running out of cards, and I think this is a very difficult position to be in. And because of this, now he's forced to use his Defy to deal with this sabotage, which I think that's probably what it would have hit anyways. And he's just doing it to hide information, which I think is overall worth it, but it definitely doesn't feel good because now, again, you're down to 2 cards, right? I mean, he's just being stripped away of cards every single turn now, and he has no draw engine to keep his hand count safe.
Okay, and Kiana coming out. I do like this card a lot. With the Bone Shiver, it's quite value. We'll have to see, though, if Luis does value the aggression, but he's played it pretty slow so far. So I honestly would not be surprised to see him just say, okay, we're going to, oh, okay, yeah, there's the Arena Bar. So you could actually just buff it up with the Arena Bar, pay the yellow, and then Kiana can get the trigger, and you actually get a draw 2 there if you do opt to get it, which is quite powerful. So this would be a pretty big turn if he does opt to do that.
And it looks like that is going to be the case here. So this Kiana going to be, go ahead, come in ready right now. And yeah, I mean, the question is do you just equip the Bone Shiver to keep her a little bit extra safe, right? Because it doesn't really feel like that's going to happen, considering that there is that Heart of Dark Ice. But you might just go ahead and try and take on this Dreaming Tree just to kind of push that unit off and then play around that Heart of Dark Ice.
Oh, wow. Okay, so is actually choosing to do that. And it is, the Kiana should be at 5/7 might, I believe, correct? So
Yep.
A single discipline is not enough here. You would need, again, a combination of buff spells or...
7 might, yeah.
7 might?
Yeah, 5/7, yeah.
Yeah. So a single discipline, not enough here. You would need a combination of cards. Or, again, you just flip the fight or flight. But that feels pretty bad
Absolutely.
into the deflect, and it's just kind of delaying the problem. At this point, I feel like if you are going to fight or flight, you're just fight or flighting your Navori Scout to try and see more cards. Because the card, like, Irelia is, 2 cards? And sure, you have the champion unit, but it feels pretty bad to play the champion unit with no gear the protector.
Yeah, I think Alan Chang here is being a little bit presumptuous, if you will. He will be able to get the draw trigger off the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And Luis is saying, yeah, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that here. And there's that defiant dance. But instead, just going to go ahead and go for this on guard. And I think at this point, if you are Luis, you do have to interact with this. So we'll go ahead and go for this riposte. But I think if I was going to counter the spell, it would have been the discipline over the riposte. Denies the draw as well as gets you an additional set of power here. But yeah, I mean, Alan Chang, I think, is okay with this because he still has that Defiant Dance as well as that failsafe in that fight or flight.
Yeah, and it really depends on what Luis is reading here. Because if you're reading like the discipline just for the draw, for the solely the sake of I want to see more cards, you might not actually do that. You might say like that's fine. I'm still winning the trade, and that your unit's still dying. But specifically because there's a hidden here, I think it's pretty safe to say that's not what's happening. And you should, again, like you said, maybe play that aggressive post and say, okay, I'm denying a draw. You need like that has to specifically be fight or flight hidden. It can't be like Azonia's or something. Otherwise, you're losing the combat. And even if it is, this feels pretty bad for you because now you're recycling multiple runes. So I agree with you there. I think you do have to actually repost. I cannot speak. Repost the discipline.
Yeah. So eventually, Alan Chang is going to go ahead and use this fight or flight as that failsafe. Just go ahead and play this patiently, allow his unit that kind of safety, if you will. And so now Luis Sanchez is going to be able to conquer the battlefield, and Dreamy Tree no longer going to be in the sights of Alan Chang. But he is going to go ahead and fire off this stacked deck after this fight or flight is resolved before the conquer happens. So Luis will not be able to... so that Alan Chang will be able to utilize that last set of mana here. And looks like he's just going to go ahead and pick up a discipline. So finds himself another discipline, going to be able to find just a plethora of cards over these next couple of turns because of exactly the discipline that he was able to utilize earlier. So, I mean, being able to pick up 2 cards for 1 card just meant that he refilled his entire hand.
I'm a little bit surprised that he did opt to pick up the discipline there because there was also a GA in the options, I believe, and actually picking up the GA is effectively picking up a unit because it's saving one of your units. And your problem right here is you just don't have units. Like you have your Navori Scout and you have your Irelia. That is it. And it is very easy for these order body decks to just pick apart your backline with Call the Weeks. Irelia or Fiora generally doesn't play it, but there's Call the Week. There's the which we've already seen the challenge. There's a Strike Down. Is it Strike Down? Or it is the body card that detaches a weapon and does damage. That is another option I've seen Fiora play because it's cool because it'll detach and then you can re-give your unit Mighty. A bunch of options for removing your backline. And see, now we're just like playing our Irelia and we don't have protection. I would be okay just like taking a turn off, to be honest, and saying I'm going to redevelop, I'm going to play my GA, I'm going to pass, not use any power, and then play my Irelia out on the next turn, attached to the GA. If that was the line, I wouldn't hate that. But this feels like a little bit risky now because we are, I think, losing the game if the Irelia dies.
I mean, he is already at 6 points here, so this threshold is being made to say, like, look, you have to conquer both these battlefields as well as be able to get rid of this Irelia this turn, or the game is just over. Right? So this Defiant Dance is going to actually get stripped away, which means now that his game plan of using this Defiant Dance to really take over the game no longer available. So I think you might be right. Just the fact that the second Sabotage was drawn, pretty devastating scenario to be in. And Alan Chang now has to decide whether or not he wants to fire it off before this effect really gets to come into play. And it might just be put onto that unsung hero just to keep it out of that mighty range. And it looks like that is going to be the case. So he might even, I guess he can't, utilize the Irelia effect again, but it is going to be chosen, which means that she is going to get that additional +1. So this Irelia will be able to go all the way up to 7, and then the unsung hero will go down to 0 might, because it does not say to a minimum of 1.
Correct.
And because Irelia was chosen as well, this Dreaming Tree will trigger, allowing him to draw that additional card. And yeah, there it is.
Yep, so now the unsung hero, as you said, down to 0, which makes it a little bit hard for Fiora to actually get it to the mighty threshold. That being said, I don't think you care too much at this point. It's like you said, you have to remove the battlefields. So in this case, I do actually like it, but for the other reason of it makes it much harder for that unsung hero to reach a threshold where it's actually threatening something on the board, right? Like the Navori Scout, it needs to get to at least 4 to get over. Obviously, we see the Arena Bar plus the Bone Shiver, but that's only +3, and Arena Bar is not like instant. And okay, that's
something. Rally the Troops here is going to allow all these units to come in buffed, as well as, I believe, no, just buffed, right? Not ready.
And he draws a card.
Yeah, and he draw a card.
So this does mean that any format units, like the Auctions, like the Fiora Worthy, any of these played out are going to immediately become ready with the Fiora, is it Victorious?
Fervent.
Fervent. It is Fervent. Okay, thank you.
Oh, no. Sorry, Fiora, Relentless?
It was Worthy. I did get it.
Sorry, my brain,
That's okay.
You said Fiora, my brain registered Fiora as Irelia, and I was like, no, it's Fervent.
No worries. But so this does mean that units played out potentially will be in that 5 might threshold to be mighty. And okay, so there's the Unsung Hero, which is going to go up to 3, and then there is the Dorn's Blade, I believe that is.
Yep, it does come into play exhausted.
Yes.
So I think Alan Chang right here is just double checking to make sure that it doesn't come into play ready, which we know it does not.
Skipping a step here. Does have to attach the Dorn's Blade first, and then does get the trigger. Yeah, okay, so good catch from Alan there. Always important, read your opponent's cards.
Yep. I was watching a meme the other day. It was like a Magic meme where he's like, yeah, if you want to understand what the card does, just read it. And then the guy would play all the all the full art cards that just like removed the text, the textless cards. And he's like, well, you can go ahead and Google it, or you can just trust what I'm saying.
So I actually have in my Ezreal deck right now, I do full art cards. It's like one of my things. I paint on the cards. I have a full art Singularity, and we were joking before the event. I was like, okay, so Singularity, well, it's a reflexive trigger. I'm going to target your Irelia twice. There's no text on it, I promise. But there are some cards that you should just know what they do, right? Like Singularity is one of them. It's one of the most played cards in like the Kaisa deck. It says kill 2 units effectively. So
yeah, deal 6 of up to each of up to 2 units.
Correct.
Yes, I remember the text exactly. I don't know why when it comes to cards, it's just like I remember them all, but like
except
you
for
asked me
Fiora
to remember
Worthy.
like one paragraph. Good luck.
Yeah, see, I come from Yu-Gi-Oh, which has the problem of every card having a essay on it.
Yes.
So I definitely forget stuff, and I never remember the actual wording of the cards because you just have to summarize at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're like Spark Notes. You're like, okay, so this was like a 5-page essay. Kill thing, bring back thing. Got it.
Or like tutor, flicker. Like we summarize so much.
Yeah.
But so it looks like Dorn's Blade is being equipped onto the hero here. So using the Fiora leader trigger and the Fiora worthy trigger. So essentially a free accelerate, not bad at all.
And then Alan Chang just making sure that the game state is maintained. So well on him for that there. But yeah, I mean, look, this is only a 5-byte unit. It's not going to be able to overtake that Fiora. And the fact that there's a Heart of Dark Ice just means that he can go ahead and bring this Fiora back, use that Heart of Dark Ice, and then just overtake that battlefield anyways. And so yeah, this Navori Scout is going to get taken out. But Alan Chang is going to be able to get that whole trigger. He's going to go, or Luis is going to go ahead and spend that buff to try and find something a little bit more to do with this turn. And he does have the Arena Bar to be able to bring it right back up to that 5 might, so at least he can draw 2 if it does get killed next turn. But the fact is, and the fact remains, there's still this Fiora on the field that's going to be able to go at least up to 9 might from that Hard Dark Ice alone.
Yeah, if it gets killed, the game's over. So hopefully there's a plan here, and as Alan would go up to 7 on the hold, and then obviously push back up to 8. But, I mean, there still are units here. We see the bone. Oh, wow. Okay, full loading it.
Yep, just going to go ahead and fully load this battlefield here. It makes perfect sense to me. Just wants to go ahead and try and keep that Fiora worthy safe. But yeah, just going to go ahead and remove everything here. Now this Fiora is going to ready, which means that she will trigger herself, bring herself up to 5 might. And, yep, 7. is the total.
How much might is on that? So we have 2 unsung heroes, a Dorn's Blade, so that's 6, a buff 7, Bone Shiver 9. Is it
2,
9?
4, 6, 8, 9. Yes.
Yes.
9.
Okay, so 9, and Irelia is going up to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like you said. Oh wow,
Yep.
that should be okay. So we're skipping steps here.
Yeah. Let's do the math.
Yeah.
But
okay.
so he's gonna go right back. So she readies. She goes ahead and gives
Yep.
herself a buff.
Yep.
He's gonna bring that fighter, or he's gonna bring her back to base. Use the Heart of Dark Ice, trigger her. So then he gets +4 from the Heart of Dark Ice, and Irelia triggering herself. Now the Irelia is going to trigger herself yet again because of this Heart of Dark Ice. And then there we go. She's gonna go all the way up to 6.
Yep. So this is
Just lethal.
yeah,
And then even if things go awry, he still has that fight or flight to push out the giant, big old dude.
yeah,
And
maybe
there
a
you go.
little bit of a misreading of the game state from Luis because that was dead on board, right? That was not like, oh, I had the fight or flight did not matter in that case, right? And
Yeah.
in that case, I mean the Fiora Worthy was just chilling in base there. Like you very easily could have put more might onto that battlefield to beat that break point. And sure, your opponent might have a buff or something in hand, but at least don't lose to board, right? Like you see the board, you should be able to do the math. It can be difficult in the complex game states, and you do need to be playing at like a reasonable pace, which can make it hard. But do the math, right?
Absolutely. So looks like triple Adaptatron going to come out, as well as a Charm to go ahead and deal with that Fiora Worthy here for game number 2. But Alan Chang off to a great start, and Luis Sanchez is going to have to figure out a way to get himself back into the series as he is down a game. And I mean, Fiora is just as strong. Or sorry, Irelia rather is just as strong on the play as she is on the draw. Being able to play a turn 2 Irelia is very strong, and Fiora, not known from playing well from behind. Very snowbally style champion, both in game in terms of League of Legends, as well as here in Riftbound as well. I mean, once she kind of gets that in, she just takes the whole mile.
Yeah, she is one of the traditional. What were they called? The 4 horsewomen of top lane or something? It was like Fiora, Irelia. Fiora,
Before
Irelia,
her rework, she
Riven.
was one of the 4 horsemen, and then after her rework, she still became one of the 4 horsemen.
Yeah, it was like Camille, Riven, Irelia, and Fiora or something? Yeah. Okay.
Those are the 4.
Yeah, God, I'm so glad I never played top lane. That role looks miserable.
I mean, were you there for the Camille support meta?
Yeah. I played AD carry. I hated it. Don't worry. Don't you love it when the level 2 support just dashes 1,200 range and you die?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, enjoyable stuff.
Actually, I will be very excited for Camille in Riftbound. That sounds really entertaining. Like just like in terms of how they would change her mechanics to the game, that seems like it'd be really cool.
Yeah, I could see her signature as like something that maybe like locks a unit in place, like
the hook shot or her ultimate.
Her ultimate. I don't know the name of it.
I don't remember the name of it.
But
it's like Hextech Alternator or something.
Something like that. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of seeing. I'm like, okay, maybe like this unit gets pinned. Maybe it's I don't know how it would work, but there's so much cool stuff that they can do with some of these champions. Like I'm really looking forward to, like I said, Aurelian Soul. We already have hints at dragon support with the Herald of Dragons. Is it the Herald of Dragons or Herald of Scales?
Herald. I think it's Dragon Herald. It's Herald something. We're just gonna call him Herald.
Scales.
Herald.
Yes, Herald, which we might get in the next set.
Herald.
Rift Herald.
Huh.
Because, right, we're getting like the jungle camps. We had Jungle Nasher.
That's true.
Yeah, Rift Herald could be there.
Yeah, it spiked the crap out of what's it called? Dazzling Aurora.
I did see. Didn't it go up to like 120 or something ridiculous?
It went to 110 for a night,
and
then it went back to 100, and now it's leveling at 80.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're not seeing the full picture here personally. I think that there's going to be some rules about token battlefields that make them not as ridiculous as they read. Because if Baron really did say, like, flip me off of Aurora, score a point, get an untargetable giant creature, and your opponent has to capture another battlefield, like, that would be insane. So I feel like there's something we're missing, like some rule or whatever.
You might be right, but Jorah or Joran, IRL. Actually, last week was our last event for the 20 Lore Pro Lorcana event. So it was actually here in Houston as well. I believe they had Liam and Katie here as well. So it was actually a pretty hype event.
Wasn't there a Lorcana event that was upcoming, or was that okay? Never mind. I'm out of the loop with Lorcana stuff. You gotta ignore everything I say. I'm a Riftbound guy. The guys here at 20 Lore are incredible at doing so many different card games. I've never even played Lorcana, so
It was actually pretty fun. I think it's still pretty fun. But I'm not a huge fan of the meta where it's at currently.
okay.
But anyways, back to the game. Here it is. Obelisk of Power going to be played, and Alan Chang going to be going first. So just going to go ahead and drop down a swift boost of swiftness immediately, and Luis Chan going to go ahead and play it, and Akshan steal that boost of swiftness, and Alan Chang nodding his head in disapproval.
Dude, Akshan with Swifties has got to be one of the most annoying things in the world, and that does like so much there because now you have the Akshan with Swifties, you trigger the Fiora, and you just skipped your opponent's turn. You hand ripped them a card. Like this Akshan card is insane.
Yeah, that Akshan did a lot of work. So, yeah, Alan Chang can go ahead and bring himself right back to the drawing board, trying to figure out how he's supposed to get himself over this right now. Because, I mean, he does have the Adaptatron, but I don't think you want to Adaptatron your own card.
Yeah, that would feel really bad. That would feel extremely bad. And I imagine this turn he was hoping to maybe play out his Irelia, boots of Swifties on her, push her up. But, I mean, now you have to establish something. And just playing out the Irelia to your base feels pretty bad.
I mean, it's incredibly risky to do something like that, especially into body where it has access to challenge and also order as well, which has, things like cold week. So, yeah, challenge just going to come down, deal with that Adaptatron right now. And, yeah. Alan Chang does not feel good about that there. Has no Defiant Dance also, which I feel like Luis kind of disrespected in a sense there, but is considering going in and putting down this Blade at the Ruin King is not going to do so. And he really wants to go ahead and push up this Akshan, but it is a little bit risky. That said, I do think it's worth it to go ahead and do it and put it onto that Sunken Temple, get yourself another card, find some more things to do on this turn, because right now he just has nothing to develop.
Probably does feel you can probably make the read that he doesn't have the Defiant Dance specifically because you're playing like the Adaptatron over like the Irelia, because the Irelia is going to trade into anything if you do use the
He was at exactly 5 runes, though. Alan.
Ah, good catch, good catch. See, this is why we have you here. You know the things. I don't know the things, clearly, except Fiora Worthy's name. I do know that. All right, Irelia coming down. Do we have a Guardian Angel or some kind of protection? No.
No, looks like not. And then Luis is going to be able to bring himself all the way up to 2 points. Does manage to bring himself a point lead. Does find himself a Sabotage.
Wow. Is that a rake? I believe I see a rake in Alan's hand.
Considering what to do here with this Akshan.
I mean, you could just move over, but nope. It looks like in choosing the pull back, maybe develop here. Yeah. Okay, there is the Fiora. Oh my goodness. Is this the victorious one? Is it Fiora? I want to say it's Fiora victorious.
It is Fiora.
Yes, Fiora
Duelist.
victorious.
It's not it's not Duelist?
No.
Duelist is the orange one.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, the Master Yi one.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we are well aware. And so Irelia getting pushed up here. Cool, because you can trigger that Sunken Temple if you do choose to. It looks like Alan is
considering it.
Yes.
Yep. So it is going to go ahead and take the draw.
It's got to feel pretty good. And quite a big hand. I think I see a flash. I see a sneaky.
Sneaky Deckhand is honestly a pretty good play here, as you are going to be able to just go ahead and take that Obelisk of Power and very likely be able to get 2 points off that Sneaky Deckhand. And a Sneaky Deckhand that can get you 2 points is about as good as it can get, really. I mean, one of these things that Sneaky Deckhand is known for is just three energy, 2 power or 2 points. That's it. You can get that. That's the best sneaky deck any you can get.
Ooh, I see a charm. So thinking here, if he wants to charm up the auction maybe onto the Fiora or onto the Irelia, which, I mean, get those boots back. Give them back.
No,
Oh,
he's just
no.
going to go
Okay,
ahead and take
hitting the
out the
Fiora.
Fiora Duelist, or Victorious.
Victorious, yes. Yep.
Yep. Actually, Fiora Duelist is this is one of her best matchups.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because Aurelia only has like 1 to 2 units on a battlefield. Or
That is true. That
a
is
time.
true. Oh, so did choose to riposte the charm here. That is a...
and you cannot not so fast it, so it looks like that's just not going to happen at all.
Yeah, though Alan is thinking here. I can't imagine what you're thinking about. I think I'm going, okay, all right, next play.
Yep, and then you can also just trigger the Fiora here. Go ahead and get yourself winning a game. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it is really cool, and I talked about this in round 1, but we didn't get a chance to talk about this, is I don't know which Aurelia it was, but they did it was either the Vegas or the Bologna best of, one of the two. They were talking about their battlefield choices, and I was like, this is really cool, actually seeing someone put more thought into their battlefield, and their reasoning was, I am always going to lead Obelisk, because it means that every single game I start with 3 runes. Or at least 2 out of the 3 games, right? Because
Right.
I lead it, I start with 3 runes no matter what, so my sneaky's always being played game 1. And then game 2, if I'm going first, my opponent is probably going to play Obelisk if they're playing Draven, which is the biggest, most popular deck. And even a
Yes.
lot of the lesser played decks like Ezreal and the Kaisar still are on it as well. So
Yeah. So Flash here going to be played in response to the Sabotage. Go ahead and protect his Fiora, or Aurelia, and Sneaky Deckhand. And now, Luis, considering using that riposte,
does he have another riposte?
he does.
Wow. I mean, that riposte card is quite powerful. Having a counter in a non-green color is so good because green sucks. I wish it didn't. It's like you read a green card and you're like, what is your purpose? I allow you to play counter spells.
That's exactly it there. So, yep. I mean, I think I would have liked to have seen seen him use the riposte just to get rid of this Aurelia. Like, he would have riposted and then put it onto the Fiora Victorious. And then, you know, if he wanted to do something like Fight or Flight, he would have had to pay to deflect cost. And then also, you know, he still would have been able to take it over with the auction regardless. So I think it's worth losing a point just to get rid of this Aurelia Fervent as soon as possible. But instead, just going to go ahead and allow the Fiora or the Aurelia player to just kind of run wild with Fiora or Aurelia anyways. Fiora and Aurelia, for some reason, are blending together.
I think I agree with you because at the very worst, your riposte then is removing at least 1 unit, right? Because the sneaky is still stuck on the battlefield as well. And at that point, the Aurelia only has 2 runes up for 1 fight or flight. So you can save 1 unit with that fight or flight. So at least one of the 2 units is dying. And as we well know, oh, and there's a challenge in hand. It didn't matter. The Aurelia big died. Hey,
And there we
there's
go.
Lucian. Card's pretty good.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah, what's up? Hit me.
Now, because this Lucian has re-equipped the boost of swiftness, if the auction dies, does it unequip the boots of swiftness?
I want to say yes. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I'm legitimately asking. I actually don't know how that interaction works.
I want to say it's still the same boots of swiftness, and the effect is still applying. So I want to say it should go back. I will say, and this is your quiz: if I play an auction, I take my opponent's gear. They play an auction, take the gear that I took. The auction, the second player, the auction that stole second dies. Who gets the gear? Or sorry, is it the first auction?
I think it's because
The first auction
Can you
dies.
pull up the wording for auction?
Sure.
because I think this is actually super important. You control it until I leave the board. I think it would have to go back to the first controller. Or the second. The first auction.
So I remember reading this in one of the judges' chat, and I'm sure I butchered the explanation of the board state, but essentially what happens is if you stole a gear that has already been stolen, the person so I stole it, my opponent steals it back.
Yeah, player one,
It
player
becomes
two.
my gear, essentially. So it'll go back to me when the auctions die.
So player one has the gear first. Player
Yep.
two has the gear.
Second, and then I steal it back.
So then it goes back to player one.
It goes to player two then.
So then it'll So if both auctions die, it'll stay with player two.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like really weird, and I butchered the explanation, but one of those cool ruling things that will probably never come. Well, that actually might come up because if orange decks are playing, they're probably playing auction.
Yeah.
That being said, it looks like Alan has developed a few units. Obviously, the Irelia died from the challenge, which does suck, but plays out the Rake, plays out the Adaptatron. I mean, that's a lot of gear removal.
Yeah. Look, I mean, this Rake had to have come down because I don't know that I like this Doran's Blade coming down from Luis Sanchez, as this Adaptatron already is on the battlefield. You will be able to conquer next turn because you pulled out all of your units. And, well, just going to go ahead and recycle the rune right now just to be able to trigger the Fiora.
I mean, this makes me think he has like a challenge in hand or something to remove the Adaptatron. Otherwise, I agree. It doesn't really make a lot of sense here unless your goal is to push up on Sunken Temple and get a draw off of it immediately.
Right.
You really need the draw. That would be my... Is that a Sea Monkey?
No, it's not a Sea Monkey. It costs
What is
3.
that
I
one?
forget what that one is. That one's one of the more fringe cards here from set 2.
I don't remember that one.
Has to do with gear.
Oh, it has a power. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it did allow him to draw a card of sorts.
I see. Is it like... Remove a buff draw? No, there were no buffs on the board.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Chat, let us know. Anyway, so it does pass back over to Irelia, and like you said, I mean, the Adaptatron can just push up and try and kill that gear. It is a bit interesting that it was committed, but maybe valuing a random card from his deck over the Doran's Blade, wants to see like the Riposte or another challenge or something, and doesn't feel the need for that gear.
That is definitely a possibility here. I mean, I think I would have much rather just used it for the final push. You were already at 6 points, so could have just played it a little bit more patiently. Instead, just going to go ahead and use the Discipline to draw a card with this Adaptatron here. Hopefully find something that's a little bit more useful, as right now this unit is mighty, but not over 6 might, so not going to be able to go ahead and get rid of this Doran's Blade. But yeah, I mean, just going to go ahead and send it in anyways. I try and trade with this Lucian that is 5 might, and then send it in with the Rake to force the trade. I think I would have much preferred just him sending in the Adaptatron into the Obelisk of Power, and then using the Discipline after the fact.
Yeah, this is not the sequencing I would have expected. I would have expected like just straight shove up Adaptatron into Obelisk first action, kill the gear. There's something we're missing, right? Like,
I'm not sure what he's playing around here. Maybe he's playing around the punch first. Thank you, Rambo Slag. Buru Captain.
thank you. Here, you know what? Let's pull it up. For anybody who is at home and has
I would gift you a sub because thank you. But I am poor.
that makes 2 of us. Riftbound makes us poor.
Yeah. I made a lot of money in one weekend, and then I reinvested it. But guess what? I did get a PSA 10 signature team out of it. So that was pretty cool.
I did see it, and I can confirm that it is very pretty.
Thank you.
All right, and so a Riposte did come down, and it looks like Irelia is just going to pick it up. Wow, that was a weird sequence of events for the final turn. Maybe I would have to guess that you're right, that he was trying to play around like a punch first or something, but even then, like, does shoving Adaptatron on the other battlefield still not just make more sense? Like, is there...
It makes more sense to do. I don't know.
Okay, maybe that. I'm sure
Yeah,
there was
I think
something.
you just sequence things wrong. It could be one of the areas where you sequence something wrong, but because this is a you know high elo event, you can't take it back. So you just kind of oops, and then just accept that.
Yep, high stakes event and a lot of pressure, especially when you're on the feature match. That is one of the like air quote downsides of being on the feature is you do have to like there are people watching you, and sometimes not everyone's really good with dealing with that, and it
True.
is a learned skill as well. It's like public speaking, like you learn it by doing it. So you're on feature enough time, you're numb to it, but the first time, not so much.
First time, not so much.
Yeah.
Facts.
Have you ever played on feature before at a Lorcana event or something?
Yeah, twice.
Did you win?
No.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean both times I lost to the guy who won the whole event.
Was in like Top Cut then, or
So, wait, no, actually, I think I'm a 1-on-1 on feature match. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I do remember I lost to the guy who won the event. He's from Southside Gaming from Lorcana.
Nice.
Really good player.
is that like a Lorcana team?
It's
Southside
a
Gaming?
store.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
was I should say. No
Well,
longer.
was. That's the that is a common occurrence in the TCG world. Is
Yeah.
a lot of wases, especially around stores.
Yeah. I mean that's life though, right?
Yeah, it's a hard business to get into. There's so much competition. Yeah, my one experience at I've been on stream a few times, but the only like high tier event was for Yu-Gi-Oh! I got at a regional a YCS, which is the equivalent of like one of the regional
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh!
qualifiers.
Championship Series, right?
Yeah, like 1.5, 2,000 people. I get up, I'm undefeated. I go up on stream, and I lost 2-0 in like 10 minutes.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, it was really bad. And
Yeah, you feel so embarrassed too because you're like I was undefeated. I hadn't lost.
yep.
Yeah, and you feel like you just get jinxed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, and it especially feels bad when you lose and it's like not your play. It's just luck of the draw. It's the card game thing. Sometimes you just lose, right?
Yep.
So.
But that's the thing is that it always happens on stream.
And then your friends will bring it up for the rest of your TCG career. Yes. Yeah, remember Fitz when you got 2-0'd? And I'm like, yep, I remember all right.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, wow.
Wait, you can't Dreamy Tree again?
Yeah, he led with Dreaming Tree. That should be an aspirant's
Oh,
climb.
and he nods his head. He's like, "Yep, you're right. Yep, quick, easy fix there."
Yep.
And I appreciate the honesty from both of these players here.
Yep.
He's like, "Oh, yeah, you're right."
Yeah.
I
It can be easy
I
to
really
miss stuff.
appreciate that stuff.
Yeah,
I
it
really
can
do.
be easy to miss. You're playing. I mean, they've been playing for 45 minutes already. The games get long.
Yep.
Lot
This
of
is the third
thinking.
round. I mean, they're playing for 3 hours straight at this point, essentially.
Yep.
I mean, mistakes will happen. Chad always likes to be like, they're cheating. No, they're playing for hours and hours and hours, and they're playing 9, 10 rounds. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna catch the mistakes, especially in the later rounds.
It's a lot. It's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like okay. Irelia opting to go first. Unfortunately, misses a gear once again.
Yeah, no turn 1, but I mean, is not really known for doing anything on 2 runes, but does have a lot of 4 drops, especially those Stellacorn Herders, which we do see in hand, and it comes right down. So is going to be able to find himself a draw engine here early on, and it's going to be up to Luis Sanchez to mitigate those draws and hopefully find an answer quick. Does have a challenge in hand, so potentially we'll have a way to deal with it here early on. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I think Luis Sanchez is in a pretty commanding position then, considering how well Fiora can do.
And I think I saw a Call to Glory in hand, which is pretty value if you do use it here on the Dreaming Tree. If he chooses to, you could get to the... Oh, wow, did he just pass? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Call the Glory in hand. I was going to say, like, just Call the Glory on the Dreaming Tree. It gives you the ramp and a draw. Not the worst thing in the world, but maybe opting to save it to see what Alan decides to do, use it more reactionary rather than to cycle. Maybe he likes his hand. I mean, no units is kind of interesting because I feel like the Fiora deck does play a fair amount of units.
Yeah, I mean, I would have. I think I would have liked to have seen him use that Call to Glory, just draw that card, and then use the challenge to deny the draw as well as the point, and then kind of force Alan to go back to square one. But maybe he's just waiting for this Fiora Fervent to come down, and then or Irelia Fervent to come down, and then just take advantage of her in that regard. And in that case, that makes a perfect amount of sense. We do see a salvage here in hand, though, so that is a card that I wouldn't have expected to have seen. We are going to see the sabotage come down though, and now Alan is going to be forced to reveal his hand. There is a plethora of answers though. He does have a boots of swiftness, a fight or flight, discipline, a whole plethora of cards to
Was
deal
that a
with.
Jana?
It's another Aurelia
Okay,
Fervent.
I was gonna say I can't imagine a Jana, but that would be quite a pick. See, I actually personally like what you said before, where you aggressively go for these units because the more cards that Irelia sees, the more likely it is they have all the counters for what you do. And the deck, as we saw in game one, when it loses the Stellar Corn early, it can just run out of cards. And then at that point, you can't protect your Irelia. And the game was won by an absolute thread, right? Like
Absolutely.
it was a slight misstep from Luis that it even ended in the way that it did. Certainly, Allen had the card in hand to play around it, but sometimes they have it, right? At least. So I personally agree with you. I would have like slammed that challenge, remove the unit, say you're playing from behind here. Good luck. Like
Yeah,
if you got this
absolutely.
stuff, you got it.
And yeah, Luis Sanchez here just going to continue to hold and try and maintain this point lead parity,
Yep.
right? Because if everything maintains the same for the rest of the game, Luis will win the game. However, the fact that he's just keeping up 5 runes, this entire 6 runes rather, this entire time, is making Alan incredibly nervous to want to move on to this battlefield, right? There is that salvage in hand, so he does have the answer for that Boots of Swiftness. He has the answer for the fight or flight in that riposte, as well as a not so fast in that riposte. So he's got all the answers in hand that he could possibly want. He just needs to continue to play this game patiently, and I think that's his game plan.
Yep, it definitely does seem to it. And wow, what a stack deck! A discipline, a on guard, and a flash. So 3 saves. I mean, Alan's got a huge hand here. I mean, a lot of options. And oh, okay, comes down the Vex. I think this is the first Vex we've seen. I would not be surprised to see this get challenged immediately. This card is very annoying when it starts pushing up,
Yeah,
especially when the Irelia has been able to draw so many cards off of continually moving the Stellar Corn.
absolutely. I mean, Vex in game is known for being apathetic, and she kind of feels. Okay,
All right, yeah, sorry about that.
that was an odd technical difficulty.
Thankfully, Sasuke's got my back. And what did we miss? It looks like the Fiora Worthy was pulled back. This is the most runes I've seen Irelia have in a long time. I feel like this deck team seems to sit between like 3 to 6 runes generally. So not often you get to see them ramped up this far.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just one of those cases where it's like, Luis has not found any of his units, or just has not felt safe to do so. I mean, I guess maybe he's afraid of the charm because the last game he did see a charm. He was able to riposte it. But yeah, I mean, look, this Adaptatron is going to come down, and Irelia not known for having many units, but somehow has way more units than this Fiora player. And I think as this game continues, Luis is just going to fall further and further behind. I mean, Alan Chang is going to be at 4 points for now. And I mean, he does need to be at that odd point parity because of this aspirant climb. But that said, not in a bad position at all. Has himself a Boots of Swiftness and a Guardian Angel as well to protect this battlefield, or both battlefields rather. And then even if he does Luis manages to take over either of these battlefields, there's that Adaptatron waiting, and it really feels like that's going to be the only way he gets over it is with some sort of Doran's Blade or any other equipment.
Yeah, and I really do like putting the fight or flight on the Dreaming Tree there because that is a lot of draw. You get to shove back, pull back your Stellar Corn, which triggers a draw, and the Dreaming Tree draw. And because the Stellar Corn is back in base, that's another draw when you do move it up. So, I mean, I would love to see it get pushed back here. Yeah, it does look like opting to target the Stellar Corn. Will Luis decide to interact with this? Because you did say he has the riposte, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like no.
I'm just going to let him to continue to draw here. And Luis is going to miss his own draw. Oh, nope. Looks there it is. Okay, he's going to find this draw. And so, yeah, going to be able to ramp as well. And then because Fiora became mighty, she readies herself. And now he can go ahead and bring her back to base if he so chooses. Does have something like a salvage to utilize on the following turn, but is not going to do so. And again, look, he just has no units in hand. I mean, this is just an absolute nightmare scenario here for Luis. He's playing so far from behind, was so far ahead early on, but the Stealthcore Hunter has drawn just, what, 5, 6 cards at this point? Well over an entire hand's worth of cards. And, I mean, she's going to continue to do so.
See, this is why I liked the earlier line. If you look at your hands and you see no units, like, you got to aggressively dig. Like, play that Call the Glory, see more cards, maybe even play the salvage for nothing, which feels awful. But this is not a winning game state. You're going to lose, and it looks like a slow bleed to me, to be honest.
Absolutely. So challenge is going to come down. Going to go ahead and finally get rid of, or at least get rid of this Adaptatron, very likely. But Alan Chang does have an answer potentially to. Yep.
There's the not so fast. Will the riposte come down? And it looks like riposte is slammed, which, I mean, makes sense. You don't want the Adaptatron to stick. And, I mean, it does feel pretty bad because that was a... Oh.
And a second not so fast in hand from Alan Chang.
And a second riposte.
And the second riposte as well.
Wow.
So counter war between both of these players. However, Alan Chang has to defy.
Wow.
He's going to go ahead and defy the challenge and finally going to be able to answer what was going on here in this challenge. So now Alan Chang feeling a lot more protected. He has the third counter out. Luis Sanchez does not have enough runes to be able to answer this and ends up losing this counter war. I mean, this is the most devastating position you could be in here if you are Luis Sanchez. Tried to get rid of this Adaptatron, is still not able to develop anything. At least we do see a Lucian Merciless in hand. I just saw it be flared. So, I mean, he does have at least one unit to play, but, I mean, at this point, I feel like you're just so far behind. He's got a Vex. He's got the Adaptatron. He has pretty much everything in the gas tank that he could ever want. And, yeah, I mean, just going to go ahead and move up that Stealthcore Hunter, draw himself yet another card, bring himself up to 6 points now.
Yep. Keep in mind, we are in aspirants, so it will have to go up to 9 here. The 6 is not the winning break point, but it's getting close. It is getting close, and it is not often that I see a stack of how many counters was that? That was
6.
riposte, not so fast, not so fast.
5.
And
Yeah, it was 5.
all for one challenge, which,
Yep.
I mean, that Adaptatron, save it with your life. But, so Boots of Swiftness now coming down. Looks like Luis might finally get to play that salvage out for some value. That being said, at this point, I don't know how much Alan cares. In fact, the salvage coming down now does mean that your GA is safe on the next turn.
Absolutely. So, I mean, look, this Bone Shiver is going to come down. It's just going to bring up this Lucian. He's just going to go ahead and... Yeah, he used the Weapon Mastery, paid the 1.
Yep.
Alan just making sure that the game state is fair. And, yep, just going to use that Fiora. Adaptatron is going to not be able to conquer this turn, so at least he gets to stabilize that little bit much. But, yeah, I mean, 8 points. Alan just needs to hold one of these 2 battlefields. I feel like at this point, I'm just going to overload one of these battlefields, put the Boots of Swiftness on one of my units, maybe even develop something a little bit further if I have enough runes available to use all of my interaction. But, yeah, I mean, that Charm coming down onto that Fiora, worthy. I mean, that's just got to be the game.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It looks like Alan actually opting to maybe retreat off. I would not hate it. as the Vex is nice because you get to kind of choose where you're attacking with the Vex, and you can
Sure.
shove up the Vex on your own turn after you've seen some more cards, and then it makes defending just that much harder. But looks like he is taking a play out of your book, shoving up right onto the Aspirants. And, I mean, infinite cards in hand, and GA finally coming down.
Yeah, I think it's just coming down just so he has some like reason to exhaust his runes. Really, doesn't really want to develop anything too much further. And there it is, just going to go ahead and pass the turn right there. So, yeah, oh, man, I mean, things could not be worse here for Luis. Did not find any units early on. Didn't go for that early play, and I feel like this Stelacorn herd really just took over the game.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, is that a rune prison, by the way?
That is a rune prison.
Wow. That's actually interesting because generally you see Thwonk played when you're playing a stun card as Thwonk. It's not a one-to-one upgrade because rune prison is usable on the attack
like
as well.
upgrade.
But yeah, in most cases when you're stunning something, you're trying to hold. And when you're attacking in and you're stunning something, you still have to have more might than them to actually take it. So it just feels like Thwonk has kind of replaced it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, also Thwonk has a repeat effect, which is pretty gross. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you get to use it, like you can stun 2 units for 1 card, and then if you have an Ezreal, you get to do some real cheeky stuff, but I don't think a lot of people are doing that kind of combo just because you're already in these kinds of colors, and you don't really need to play that Miracle package, although maybe you could be doing something like that in a Yasuo deck, but you don't see it in these Fiora lists. So, Lucian going to come down, try and find a way into this battlefield, going to use that Call to Glory. And if there is that fight or flight, the game is just over. But we do know there is that Rune Prison anyways, so effectively the same thing.
Yes, unfortunate for Luis. And I will say, the Vex does make the Rune Prison pretty value, right? And hey, it was.
And
I was right.
as
I was
well.
right.
For some reason, is running Janna. Look at this. Luis has never even seen the card before. Doesn't even know how it works. And yeah, I mean, it's effectively a fight or flight here, but just going to make things even more difficult. And yeah, Luis Sanchez has no riposte available to deal with this. So, I mean, riposte doesn't even work here regardless. I mean, the only thing that you could have is a not so fast. But yeah, good game here for Luis Sanchez. Unfortunately, wasn't able to find any unit early on. And Alan Chang utilizing that Stelacorn herder as much as possible.
Yep, and that is kind of a textbook Irelia game where it's just the Stelacorn lives and then it just snowballs out of control. It's draw and draw and draw. And then Luis just struggling to even